Good. Call meeting order. Roll call.
Okay, Mayor Westergaard.
Yes.
Muller.
Yes.
Stankin.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Bolton. Yes. Reese.
Yes.
Anyone that would like to speak at public forum? Okay, consent agenda. Any additions or corrections?
Just no.
Please.
Don't have to.
Motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Muller.
Yes.
Stankin.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Bolton. Yep. Reese.
Yes.
We have 2 building permits. Kyle, look at them.
Yes, all of the building permits and the fence permit are approved.
Anyone have any questions on those 2 permits?
I do. The Horseshoe Drive one, I looked at the drawing, so I talked to Scott a little bit. I was just wondering, obviously it must fit our existing ordinances, but I was wondering if the council might want to have P&Z or somebody look at our ordinances. I guess I just have a concern about these, what are they called, house sheds? What are they?
Shells.
Yeah. I just kind of have a concern about those going up in our residential district. And, obviously, we don't have an ordinance prohibiting it now, but I just wonder if maybe we should look at this before it becomes a big problem.
But don't have to have the right kind of siding and you can't.
It does. There's just there's a handful of requirements that they gotta meet, but this is permissible to have what ends up being a large garage area with limited.
It looks like a shed. I mean, it looks like a nice shed, but it looks like a shed. They've got industrial door. I mean, I don't know how high is this door. I don't even know. But I'm guessing it's shop type.
Unfortunately, the footings are already poured.
Well, I'm not talking about this particular one because obviously we don't have an ordinance prohibiting that. I'm saying, should we be looking at this? Quite frankly, I would not want one of these in my neighborhood.
Before it gets too far out and you have to balance it.
I just think the council, I thought maybe the council would want to instruct the, would it be the P&Z?
Yeah.
That would take a look at this and see, get their thoughts on it. So,
A lot of towns do it this way. A lot of cities and towns.
This ends up being a more popular way that folks are looking at their houses. But yeah, it's a real question about whether you think it's appropriate for your neighborhood. And so we have these that are one large single story. There's a couple out around the lake that are 2-story. There's basically garage on the bottom and then doors on top. So, but they've all been treated the same under our code.
Well, it certainly couldn't hurt to have a look at it and talk about it. If we could direct the administrator to have a meeting with them. Would that be possible?
It'll happen.
I just would like to have a look.
We have a motion on those 2 building permits. So, second.
Second.
Roll call.
Bolton.
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
Muller.
Yes.
Stankin.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Okay, we have a fence permit. Do you want to talk about that? Voice is busy.
The property owner is Irene Steffes. The person who's actually putting in the permit, I think, is the grandson. Oh, can't remember the other name. Anyway, just know that there is a little bit of a property dispute here, a property line dispute between him and his neighbor. And just know that Bob Summerhazen is the neighbor to the south, with whom the line is in dispute. Now, the city does not determine property lines. We would go out there and attempt to locate pins and stuff, and we've done that. And for the area that the fence is proposed to be, there's no issues there. I think all of the property owners agree on that property pin, which is on the east side of the property. And they have some issues on the west side of the property, and it doesn't affect this fence permit, and it is a civil issue between those two figured out.
So if you have someone building like this and your neighbor has concerns about it, is it the person that's doing the building's responsibility to have their property surveyed? Or is it kind of up to either one of them? I mean, can the
It's the
person,
person's responsible, the person building is responsible for having determined where the property lines are. So that's either by finding the pins or potentially by having a survey.
so if Bob is unhappy with this, does this person then have to have it surveyed? Are they required, do we require them to have it surveyed?
Only if it would impact the issuance of the permit, which we won't.
Otherwise, we would.
Potentially. We have before, but boy, only a handful of times.
If this guy builds a fence, and then Bob has it surveyed, the guy would have to move it if he was wrong.
That should be one.
But it's, again, for what would be the southeast property pin of this property with the fence, they'll agree with that. So,
But does the city require, so you got two people that have an issue over this property? Not necessarily this one, but just the. So does the city then require the person putting up the building to have it surveyed? Is that what you just said?
the city requires to the city's satisfaction to know where the property line is. Okay, and if it becomes truly questionable to the extent that a survey is required,
That doesn't apply here.
no, we agree about the area that the fence is going, there's no issue.
In this case, a good fence might be good neighbors.
Well, there's more and more stuff getting there.
I do entertain a motion for an application to approve. Second?
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Holman,
Yes.
Stank,
Yes.
Mulder,
Yes,
Reese,
Yes.
Tom.
yes.
Okay, 1929 is resolution on our zoning, Sunset Drive.
Yeah, so this is a request from R&S Reynolds. Just to do note that the R in R&S is Rossmore. It's maybe something, so it's Ross and Scott. They request a rezoning of the area 360 Sunset Drive, which had been commercial, and would propose to rezone that as Lakeshore Residential. Okay, that 360 Sunset Drive is the old East End restaurant property. Okay, so Tammy, R&S has put forth a rezoning request. It's a conditional rezoning request, that they could have the ability to subdivide that parcel into two properties should they choose to do that or need to do that to sell the property. Okay? And it's conditional in this, that the lake shore frontage on this property is 99 feet of lake shore. Okay? We have minimum lot requirements, minimum lot frontage of 50 feet. So that's the conditional part. They want to be able to take the 99-foot property and be able to divide it into two lots if need be. So it's 99 feet on the front, 127 feet wide on the back. So it does meet, it exceeds the minimum requirements, just not at the very front. Okay, so as this issue was brought to the planning and zoning, they do end up recommending approval of this. They had some questions about whether this should by rights end up with the Board of Adjustment. And I did check with Dave Bennett on this. He thinks we were proceeding down the proper path, and that this would be council action, and just looking at this as a amendment to the zoning.
I make a motion that we approve.
Roll call.
Tom?
Yes.
Holman? Reese?
Yes.
Mulder? Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 501, amend the code.
Yeah, so this is, consider a couple of ordinances suggested by the Planning and Zoning Commission. This first one deals with temporary structures, and really they both kind of work hand in hand, because eventually this has some impact on swimming pools. We're going to define swimming pools later on as permanent structures, both in ground or above ground. So this, before we get into defining swimming pools, this defines what a temporary structure is. Okay, now take a look at the definition of the temporary structure. Structure without a foundation or footing that is removed when the designated time period, activity, or use has ceased. So if somebody puts up what is truly a temporary seasonal swimming pool, okay, it would be a temporary structure. It's not going to need the building permit that we'll talk about here in a bit for a swimming pool. The other thing that I would see this coming in to be is truly temporary structures. And one thing that comes up in every community is the tropical snow stand. You know, if there's a retailer who sells tropical snows out of their little shed on skids during the summertime, it's still a temporary structure. So, you see a whole lot of implications on this, you know, as far as temporary structures. They, like for all of our sheds around town, when somebody still places a shed on skids, we still require building permits and whatnot. They're not temporary, even though they're moving.
So are the ones that aren't in compliance with this new, are they grandfathered in, I'm assuming?
On the pools, yeah, we've kind of started with clean swing. This first one is, yeah, just.
So the temporary pool, do they have to take it down every year?
They would take them down. Yep. And by rights, they should be getting a building permit and meet the requirements that we'll go through in the next one. There's some fencing requirements.
Right.
Because there's a lot of them that don't come down and don't get drained.
Yeah.
They drain them part way.
Yep, and those, under our definitions, will be permanent.
Yeah. I agree with that.
We have a motion on 501.
This just be first.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Thank you.
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Holden?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Holden?
Yes.
Make the motion. Wait a second.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Okay, Holden? Holden?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
One more time, then I'll
One more
final
time.
reading it.
Motion to,
I'll make it.
Okay,
second,
I'll second it.
roll call.
this is to finally
Final.
approve the. Okay, Reese?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Holden?
Yes.
Holden? Yep. Tom?
Yes.
Okay, 502 is our,
Okay, let's take a look at a swimming pool ordinance. Let's see. Actually, before we look at the ordinance, we want to take a look at page 2 on some comments about just in general where swimming pools are allowed. So basically, residential swimming pools would be allowed in R2 zones and R3 zones. Okay? We allow R3 uses within the commercial zone also. So swimming pools would be allowed within the commercial zone. Now, commercial zone though is basically the highway and a couple of the lots off of Main Street. Main Street's a different zone, it's the central business district. So, R2 and R3, and then these commercial lots, that's the only places where swimming pools would be allowed. We have not allowed them before in Lake Shore or in Provo or industrial. We just had not allowed them. And we would continue to.
When you say Lake Shore, you're talking about the lake?
Lake Shore residential area. So some of the areas off of the lake are zoned R3.
But you're not talking about Lake Shore Drive specifically, you're talking about an area.
Yeah, the Lake Shore residential area is a zoning district. So, again, not allowed in Lake Shore, Provost, not allowed in Central Business District, not allowed in the Industrial District. We currently, when someone wants to have a swimming pool, they would go before the Board of Adjustment and get a special exception. So the idea of the special exception is that it is a use that's specifically allowed, but there may be some special things that you could do with this use to make it more consistent with the neighborhood. Well, what's always happened when somebody came to get a special exception, they would say, yep, you can put up your pool, and you gotta have a fence around it. You gotta have a fence around it, you gotta have one of those gates that only latches from the inside. And every time that was the decision. So this ordinance basically is going to implement those as regulations. So it's gonna say, if you put up a permanent swimming pool, it would be permissible, you need to get a building permit. You need to have at least a 4-foot-high fence around it that has openings no bigger than 4 inches. It says a 4-inch orb can't fit through it, so think about a 4-inch wall. You can't fit a 4-inch wall through it. And then it's got to have this gate that only is accessible from the inside. Okay. So that will just now be a requirement of getting the building permit. Folks will be able to do this without having to go through the special exception process. Okay, with one exception, that the mobile home district is still unusual enough that if somebody wanted a swimming pool out there, they may very well have some special requirements that they would want within the mobile home district. So a special exception would still be required within the mobile home district. Make sense, everybody?
I'm just trying to think of what a special exception would be in a mobile home.
That they would, same requirement, whether they would want some enhanced fencing more than 4 feet. Just that the proximity there is so close. The other instance in a mobile home park, and most likely instance I would guess, would be the community pool. That if the mobile home park would.
We have a motion on 502.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Okay, Moller.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Bolton. Reese.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
We have a motion to waive the next 2 readings. Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Bolton. Moller.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
One more for the fun.
I'll do it.
Okay. Second?
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Reese.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Bolton. Moller.
Yes.
Okay. 503 is Mr. Dollar more.
Yeah. This falls under the kind of heading of conflict of interest, but what this really does is makes our local ordinance consistent with a change in state code in regards to how much business the city can do with another city official. So whether that's an elected official or whether that's an employee, the city is limited by state law about how much business we can do with with these people before you'd have to bid the projects. Okay, so we just always think about this with when we had always done business with Jerry Hussey to do the carpet down at Nigo.
Cheers.
We always had to get bids before we would utilize Jerry. So anyway, this ordinance just changes the dollar amount. The dollar amount right now is $1,500. Does go to $6,000 then, which is consistent with the state code.
We have a motion on 503.
Motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Moller.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Bolton.
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
We'll have a motion to waive the next 2 readings.
I'll make it.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Thank you.
Yes.
Moller.
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
Bolton. Tom.
Yes.
Okay, Rob, you have good news for us?
We have one final.
I always have good
We
news.
got one more.
One more final.
One more vote.
One more.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Moller.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Bolton. Reese.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
This got me removed. Now we'll give you a try.
I just wanted to touch base and make sure everything was running like it should be and nobody had any complaints or tongue lashings or anything like that for me. And our contract right now will be up, I believe, the 1st of November. Right now we're into, if neither party wants to change anything, it gets renewed for 1 year. I would like to change that this November, that it goes to 3 years, not every time, but just another 3-year contract, just for a little bit of safety net and security for us. We're looking at upgrading some of the recycling equipment, and that's pretty much it. I don't want to change the price, none of that. We'll worry about that in 3 years.
Be hard to turn that down.
The only complaint I've had, and I have not seen any evidence of it.
Okay.
One resident did complain to me that there was like greasy, filmy, oily stuff coming out of the back of the garbage truck sometimes on the street. I haven't seen it, I've gone and looked, and I have not
Yep.
seen it. Was that just like during
It-
carnival or something?
It could be carnival stuff. It is more than likely grease from one or two of the restaurants here in town that will not use their grease traps properly for some reason, and they throw it in the garbage. And we never see it, and once we compact it, it's under a lot of pressure and it comes out. There's drain holes in there to let water out, and that's where it's coming.
Okay.
So if they're seeing something, that's probably it.
That probably come from residential trash too.
It could, yeah, it sure can, yeah,
It's hard to say where that would all come from.
yeah.
Do you think it's been an issue, or?
Most of our stuff, when it comes to commercials, done in the dark, so it'd be hard for me to really see it or notice it. I haven't noticed a big problem, but that doesn't mean there isn't one either. I can surely keep an eye on it and see.
I can tell you, I haven't heard any complaints.
Good.
I haven't.
Like, you go above and beyond.
I would tell you, we even got brand new recycling containers.
Brand spanking new one.
You betcha.
There are enough of them.
So when you upgrade, are you gonna move your garage doors to the back of the building? Is that something you've considered?
I've considered all sorts of options for that building, and I don't know if we can move them to the back. There used to be garage doors back there, but the slope, every time it rained, would just fill the shop with water. That was the biggest issue.
Just as we're looking at Main Street, it's just something like that.
Yep, absolutely. I'm not really opposed to anything. I mean, we've looked into a few things. It's kind of hard to polish a turd, but, I mean, but we're all ears. I mean, we're not here to hurt your Main Street. If we can do something to make it look better, we'll damn sure try.
That's good. It's a process, we'll get going with it.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make a motion to try and figure it out.
I'll second.
Roll call.
So, I guess, what I could suggest, can you just instruct me to prepare a contract and end up for 3 years?
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Hurry up, will you?
Is it done yet?
That'll be at the next council meeting, we'll take action on a contract amendment. For 3 years, same price.
Can we need a motion to do that?
Yeah, there it is, so, Whitey had that well, we're pushing.
Yeah. I'll second.
Roll call.
That's it.
Second.
I can,
Campbell, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Bolton, Tom.
yes.
Good. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Job well done.
Thank you.
Okay, George Moorhauser wants to be on the Historic Preservation Commission. Do we have a motion
I'll
to
make
do
a
that?
motion that we appoint him.
Second? You? Roll call.
Tom,
Yes.
Bolton, Reese,
Yes.
Bowler,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we're talking about the building.
It's Mary Ann Monroe.
Talk to the library.
Yeah, just a little, I'll just tell you a little bit what I know a little bit about Mary Ann Monroe. Is the Historic Preservation Commission is actually going over to hold a meeting over at the Oldville Rehab Center next month with Mary Ann. And there's been people over to see Mary Ann, have really good things to say. She said she's really very alert and would love to see some people, so they're going over there for a meeting. Next month, I think John and I are going along.
That's just to come over.
Good, she's been on long and faithful.
Yep. Just a couple things on the library project. And really, the only purpose about talking with the council about this is strictly an update about where we're at in the process. But if you look on page 13, that is cost estimates that we have for these phases of the project. Okay, and what we've done is got real cost estimates from contractors on all of these phases, so that they're, I think, pretty good, reliable numbers. Now, as we start to think about bidding this, you know, we would look to get some plans together and finish bidding this year shortly, while fundraising is going on at the same time. Okay, so if you look at the bottom of that page, that'll tell you a little bit about where they're at on fundraising it, but they still need funds needed of about $125,000, where the total project cost is at $365,000. So, I wanted to have this discussion with you about timing and about our process that we use for taking this thing out to bid. Okay? Again, as you look at all those cost estimates and think about plans for it, we have structural plans, and Wallach Lumber's been real good about working with us about coming up with all of these plans and getting the cost estimates, doing really good work for us on that. And then we work with this engineer who is able to seal the plan. So we'll have sealed structural plans. Okay? But then there's the electrical components that go along with it, and then there's the plumbing and HVAC components that go along with it. And for planning purposes, what we've done is just talk with contractors about designing this stuff. Okay? So when it comes time to bid that, we really need to take those structural plans and be able to combine all of the electrical and plumbing stuff onto that same set of plans to make sure that we end up with sealed plans out of this as we go to bid. And, you know, we're not using the traditional architect type of a format for this, where the architect would do all of this stuff for us. Okay? Just concerns me a little bit when we do this.
Right.
Okay? We're going to have this discussion later on about the heating system at the shop, where we used the same format for that, and the heating system wasn't included.
Right.
Okay, so I really just want everybody to be well aware of this process that we propose to use, and we'll look at trying to have as many sets of eyes look at this as possible. And when you get right down to it, we got to have approved plans before we can send this thing out to bid. You know, so there is some additional professional help that's going to be needed as we continue to work towards this.
So you're gonna hire someone to
Greg?
to put the plumbing inside that blueprint and the electrical?
So Craig, again, over at Wallach Lumber, they have their people that, well, I got the structural guy who would refer us to some more electrical guys and the plumbing and HVAC, who can all, you end up all working together to end up with a set of sealed plans. It's not uncommon.
Does that
There's-
come out of Craig's then system? Or do you know?
Yeah, you know, somebody will prepare the initial plans on that, and then these engineers work off of those initial plans to authorize it.
So
Make sure they're all proper.
So you'd have to consolidate, if I'm understanding you right, how would you determine if there's electrician A and electrician B, both of what this bid towards this plant, towards the project? How would you determine who would you do that? Would you do that before the?
That they both want to bid the project?
Yeah, put the plan to work.
Yeah, that's accurate. It just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
becomes that we would have an agreed upon set of plans that go out to a traditional bid,
So,
to a general contractor.
so the lumberyard is going to have contractors that they have the design of the electrical requirements, heating requirements, plumbing requirements. And then those people give that info to Craig, or some way it is imposed into their system that prints a blueprint?
We sure hope so. Hey, so far, I've talked with Greg about it, he had some people to refer to, and that's basically where we're at in that process. But we can't take a hand-drawn sketch out of it.
No, this is gonna be a problem.
Well, he's got a guy that's capable of doing this.
I hope so.
Well, we won't know until we see. No.
I hope your water all ends up in the right place.
It's not the same engineer we've had in the past, I can tell you that.
So, on page 3, you can just see what is likely laid out there. This would likely be the most aggressive timeline that we could look at. If we can get these plans to all come together, next regular library board would be on September 10th. We present that to the library board at that time. If they approve, then it comes to city council on the 16th of September, where the city council would be setting the bid letting date on this, which, you know, I propose for as early as October 17th. I'm going to give them at least a month to prepare their bid, so. And the council could potentially award
Well,
this
you
on
have
October
let the
21st.
bids,
Is it November 21st?
yeah, you have the bids, set bid letting for October 17th, and you're gonna award them on the 23rd, so it's very long.
4 days.
Yeah, the bid letting date's the 21st.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, we-
the people that make the
We
bid
have 4
have a
days to
month.
review, and it comes
And
to the
then
council for
this is the
approval.
next council meeting that they would be able to pick a bid.
Because they'll still have,
Okay.
they'll get their sheet sent out to them.
Yeah, they'll have a month to prepare their bid.
Right, so
Yeah.
they.
Well, what is the
the
set bid
bid
letting
until
date for
October
October
17th to get their
17th?
bid.
Is that what the bid?
But they can't do it.
That's when we would open bids. We would open
Right,
bids
so
on
that's a month, it's
October
giving them a
7th.
month to
Okay,
get their bid in.
And it's just you.
so bids go out on when, the 16th?
Yep, right around there.
I see, okay, got it.
So, again, fundraising continues through the fall and winter. And then this would propose a completion date for the project of October 1 of 2020. What's the library think, Derek?
Well, everybody's anxious. We have our board picked out, the fundraising board, and they're gonna meet second time, or the first official time, we did a rough proposal of what we thought we needed to have done, and they're gonna get together, bring this next Wednesday to get the fundraising organized, and we're gonna try to start that on around October 1st. We'll start after the fundraising.
Just as a note, at the LPA meeting, they raised 100,000. Right at 100,000, so they're closer to their goal, so by the time yours comes out, it should be moving up.
They were at 100,000 a few weeks ago.
That's what they announced at the meeting.
Over
And then,
that morning.
yeah, then they got 15,000.
Close to 20.
It's like when money really went down.
That's what Brett said that day. You remember that? Okay, we have a contract with our CDBG housing grant. That's for those homes that are going to get.
Yeah, so these are the 4 housing rehab projects.
They have, none of us have started yet.
No, matter of fact, this is just the contract with the state, just a procedural issue really about approving the contract with the state so that we can start to really have Region 12 start their work on the project. Nothing can start it,
Okay.
but we do need to approve the contract.
We have
I'll
that
make a
motion?
motion that we approve the contract with Iowa Economic Development.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Okay, Tom,
Yes.
over,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. And Government Hicks would like to be paid again.
13th time.
Make a motion to approve.
Second? I'll second it. Roll call.
Over,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Wolf, Reese.
Yes. Somebody's left.
Now, where did I tell you we were at on percentage? We're at 80%. 80% paid.
Oh, okay.
So it must be 80% good.
Boy, I hope you're right.
They're farther along than they were a month ago.
They look, it looks pretty good. I mean,
That's pretty good.
You can see they're doing,
All the weather makes it really good.
Royce, do you have an update on our nuisances?
Well, yes and no. I haven't, since the last meeting, had a lot of time to be working on it. I have got some of them whittled down. I talked to this Jim Kolb again, and he's been in the hospital, so I told him he'd take care of it as soon as he can. I did go ahead and file on Danny Boone for not moving his car. I think it's one of those, he's just being stubborn. Tried to mash oil, so he lost. But I did end up mailing a notice to the guy who owns the 3rd Street shop. The guy who has the paint shop is not the owner of the building. So the guy who owns the over-the-road trucker, so he got one, and he has, I think, till the end of the week to get it done.
to get it done.
Yeah. He has to whack the weeds down and move the junk.
Those guys with that trailer house that have the toilet sitting outside.
I call them, they're gonna take care of that.
Are they given a time limit on some of these things?
I just told them do it as soon as they can. This is gonna sound terrible, but I know them, so I know they will.
Okay, it's all right. I just want it done.
Yep.
The project on Highway 65.
That's a work in progress.
Didn't we get out and get pictures that day of?
Yep, I've got pictures of it. So, and I've also kind of found it works, if you take pictures of stuff, then show them what you want. Doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. But it's my fault.
You need to add Terry Smith to that, because I think originally that kind of got through the cracks, because it was the old spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Set of vehicles moved.
Yeah, that
That
little
property,
issue you pick up.
that property needs a lot of work.
And once again, my apologies, but I just been.
You know, you could, and you can delegate some of this, don't you think? I mean, that's what I think.
I don't know if I can, because by ordinance, I think there's only 3 of us that can do that.
Okay, all right.
And there is a room here?
What's that?
And there is a room here?
One, no. No, it's something, I don't think according to ordinance, I think I'm
It has to be.
the ordinance officer.
Okay,
I don't know how much leeway they give you, but I believe by ordinance it's me.
okay, we'll look at that.
like in back, Daydream was there, the car got moved out.
It's gone, yeah.
But, did he, I mean, he moved it, or was our,
Um,
it tore up pretty bad?
They made arrangements to have it moved. So I talked with them, and they had made arrangements to get rid of it.
There's deep,
What's that?
there's deep, holes. I know that ain't her,
But once again, my apologies, I didn't couldn't commit the time I wanted to do it this last week.
Because I need to review the ordinance better. I kind of started to. So it looked to me, well, sometimes Scott tells me that it's not the way I read it. I don't understand, but anyway.
Well,
So on weeds, they have 48 hours, it looked to me.
We can give them 48 hours.
Because a lot of these are weeds.
yeah, I do a lot of, you have a week or so to do like this, so they can't say you weren't there.
So some of them, because this is what, the 3rd week at least.
No, easily, yeah, I'm sure of it. But some of them I did get notice served to right away because I couldn't find them, I ended up mailing it.
Okay, so the ones you got dated are 8, okay. Okay, and then they were given a week, is
Yeah,
that
a
what we
week
were
to do
given?
it.
And then you're gonna add Terry
Yeah, I'll
Smith
take care of
property.
it, yeah. The 1 second notice, I noticed she was mowing her lawn this evening.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you
It's a
know-
last minute, but hey, it's getting
Supposed to
done.
rain.
And then we don't have any update on the ones from Janet?
So here's the update on that, I had talked with Dave about, specifically about Casey Schwann's, and he needed to get that dangerous building ordinance as of Friday that was not done. He emailed me today that he was working on it, so it will be coming out, I think, here real shortly, and that's all that I can tell you. I mean, and all I tell you is that he said they've been very busy. They have not, he's just not done.
So then, does he give them us so many days?
Yeah, we said that we were gonna give them a 30-day
30-day
notice to
notice.
get that.
And it goes by certified mail, so it's from the time he picks it up.
I think we always need things from the Dayton mail.
Oh,
Dayton.
I didn't know.
I know that when it's certified as a day, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Just another thing, I know that he had gotten the termination documents done today about Keith Carroll. So that will be terminated. I have not done anything on new proposals for that property. We'll work on that.
And nothing's happened over here.
Had asked him about Reardon's, there is no news on it.
You're 6, right? Been a long struggle. Anybody have any more questions for Royce? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Administrator report.
Yeah, there's, this first item there about a maintenance toilet and heating system. Again, just, the way we did this, the plans for this maintenance shop, we had a structural engineer. You know, the building was designed and the structural engineer approved it. There is, within that shop, there's no electric or plumbing. We're doing our own electric and there is no water going into it. Anyway, there's no heating system that was included in the plumbing.
So there won't be water.
Just use it for storage.
And you need that storage to be heated, is that right?
Yeah, trucks gonna be in there.
Oh, okay.
Trucks, maintainer, all that stuff.
Oh,
Inventory.
So,
yeah.
are you looking at radiant?
Yeah, these are radiant tube heating systems. So it's the same thing that we have in the shop right now.
That's about, yeah, we have it in our bus one.
If you flip
The
that,
seats are warm inside. when
flip
you
the
get
sheet
in.
over it, what you see there is the 5 garage doors. And just know that the plan would have us running a 50-foot long heater down between each one of the garage doors. There's 4 of them. You can see the 2 prices on the front side that we got, and you'd be ready to hire Lakeview Plumbing and Heating, and they are able to get after it here pretty quick, so the timing should be good.
Motion to approve, whatever.
Yep.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Holden? Mulder?
Yes.
Benke?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Bill, you're happy with the building, right?
Well, it could be better if I did it. Well, it's perfect.
So what is insulated inside and out?
Yep, and it's Tim's uppy. Chad's done.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the garage door guy got done today, just waiting for Kurt to finish the entry.
Good.
Really, it's pretty building.
Yeah. I
He
see
did a
that
good
from
job.
the road.
He did a good job.
Oh, yeah.
What else do we have? Anything?
Just a couple extra things for you. There's this notice that was at your table tonight about our downtown business owners meeting. And we will have a downtown business owners meeting next Monday night at 7 o'clock. We'll do it at the Shelter House. Okay? 2 main reasons for the meeting is we will roll out our business incentive program. So as we send this out to all of the business owners, the business incentive program's on the back, so they at least get to see what it is. But we will talk through all of the application process and everything at this meeting next Monday. And then we'll also have some information on downtown signage, about having some visually consistent signage between the businesses. And if the mayor and council could attend that meeting, I think it would be excellent. As many as possible attend that next meeting. So an update on the dentist building, just know that I met with the dentist and his architect about this newly designed building. And they are looking then at some options there. And they had mentioned that they got together with you and looked at the basement of your building and repairing it. But, and then they talked about maybe setting this building back a little ways from Main Street, and it had something to do with your basement.
Well, because there's, like about 20 feet on the front of that building, and where the basement is, the rest is solid stone.
Oh,
I think they're worried about that wall. And of course, I was quite worried about that too. I don't want to put new, I mean, he'd have to put new wall. That's his,
You just think like the, from the construction, it would,
well, banging around with the big backhoe there, you know,
Could happen.
never could happen. What happened. But I, you know, I would prefer if you remodeled it, but I guess it doesn't make me a difference. I'm not saying.
the other thing that they were talking about on a new construction is not having the wall line up with the front on Main Street, but having it set back. Like this 20 feet or whatever you're talking about the basement, that it would be set back and there'd basically be a courtyard or something like that in front of the building. It'd be, Iowa State Bank is set back just a few feet, 5, 6 feet. And this would probably be more.
20 feet, 21.
Depending on the building size.
Well, no, they go all the way back. See, that building goes back another 75 feet.
But then there'll be no, we were hoping for parking back there for their employees and that, so that they're not on the street.
Because that building is on the line.
About a garage out the back side on the high street.
That building is on the line. They can't get any, well, I don't think they can get any closer because that, the north side of that building is actually was put on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he's talking about going back to the west, right?
Yeah.
The front of the building would be to back.
Yeah, I know.
And the back would also be built.
Yeah, the back will then, which will push the back that far. I don't know, 20 feet seems like a long way, is it?
Well, he said also about putting a step in there away, so they wouldn't put pressure on the walls. I don't think they got it.
No, they don't, they were just, kind of brainstorming when they were here that night.
The thing is, he's still, I don't know how high it's gonna go, but then he's getting into it. You know, the 20 feet is, then it are whatever, the parking lot club that you see is there too, see if you go, to build against that, you know. There's a window there that should not be covered because it's, being extra access, you know.
Why? Yeah, but what is our ordinances? I don't even know.
It's not your ordinance, it's mine. I mean, you gotta have another, you gotta have an exit. Besides the main exit, you gotta have an exit.
I know, but can you prevent someone from building on their property that's gonna be?
No, I can't, that's fine, if
I
he
don't
wants to
want-
take the chance.
I'm just asking, I don't know.
I don't know that either,
But he's not,
There's a state code on.
he's not thinking of going two-story anyway.
No, just briefly broached the idea of second story housing.
So
Mike.
is there's no ordinance about the front and where it has to be?
No, there's really not.
I think so, we have to kind of stay in line with this.
Certainly there's always been that.
I mean, if you built a house, you can't, not supposed to, very.
Well, you can always go back. You see, that's the deal. For like a house, you could always go back further. You just can't go out further. Yeah, if you wanted a bigger front yard, you could do that. And we don't have a codified restriction against that in the downtown zone.
But it
It
would
just
look
seems-
more uniform, it
Yeah.
would stay in line with all this.
But you got Iowa State Bank that is setting back a little bit,
Not 20 feet.
not 20 feet.
I'd say they're only about 4 or 5 feet at the most. I mean, you got your sidewalk and then 4 or 5 feet is all to keep it doors.
Well, I suppose if we don't have an ordinance, all you can do is encourage them to.
Have we Anything else?
Just to note that, I have an estimate of tuck pointing of this building, and I met with another guy today about that. So I would expect that we'll see, have that issue come before the council, hopefully at the next meeting, of getting the contractor on board.
How much did we put back for that?
Check, our initial estimate was about 25,000. I think
Good, we have a motion to adjourn. Second?
Yeah.
In adjourn.
Yeah, you betcha.
Shut this thing off before somebody says something.